Stefon Diggs traded from Buffalo to the Houston Texans.
What the hell going on?
Oh, man.
Wow.
This is major.
Wow. Mike Hoskins, our diehard Buffalo fan, he literally looked at his computer and said, I feel sick.
He feels sick. But, we were saying, too, though, the last couple of years there's been these trade rumors with Trayvon Diggs about stuff maybe happening or whatever, but nothing ever happened. Now,
yeah,
at this point.
Disgruntled. Last year, Sean McDermott was like, I wonder what's going on with him. Kind of been, I feel like this has been a lot in the works.
In the works
coming.
for a while. Yeah.
This was going to happen at some point.
It felt like it.
It felt like it was almost inevitable that he was going to split with Buffalo. The weird Twitter post yesterday responding to someone about Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the best for a new, change of scenery for him.
Chris, can you fill me in on that Twitter post? Because I did not see that.
Oh, somebody asked about Josh. What was it? It was whether the receiver made Josh.
Or Josh made the receiver.
And then Stefon Diggs responded with, you sure?
You sure?
Oh, wow.
Oh, but did he say something during the year in regards to Josh Allen? Had some kind of quote? And I'm not, I thought I saw something, not from a negative perspective, but
yeah, I don't know,
just something about what was going on. But but what's weird about it though? First thing I asked you was, okay, what was the trade? And you said just draft compensation,
just straight up. So the Bills are getting a second round pick back from Houston in 2025. Not even in this year's draft, a 2025. Second rounder that came from Minnesota. And now the Texans get Stefon Diggs, a 2024 sixth rounder, and a 2025 fifth rounder. But
no player. So
no player back.
What does that? Does that say something in regards to them wanting to just move on, but not getting a player back and just giving up the draft picks?
Definitely moving on, and definitely seems like Buffalo's taking a wide receiver at 28 in a few weeks,
right,
in Detroit. I just immediately thought about it from the Houston perspective. Look, obviously they hit on C.J. Stroud.
Excuse me, where's he from?
The Ohio State. We're going to talk about this in a second. When did the start there, Jim?
All right.
That's
sacrilege.
Did you start that? You might have started that.
No.
30 years
it was a little bit after my time at Ohio State.
Stroud, huge hit, obviously. Okay. Tank Dell before he got injured, huge
fantasy
hit.
MVP.
Nico Collins coming out party. They get Joe Mixon in free agency. Will Anderson on the defensive side. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year as well. Houston is coming for Kansas City.
Yep.
And I just immediately asked, are they now the best chance in the AFC to take out the Chiefs, fellas?
Man, bro.
Because we're all chasing. We're chasing 15.
Yeah,
we're
obviously.
chasing Kansas City.
He's the white rabbit.
We're chasing Kelsey. We're chasing the big man Andy Reid. We're chasing Stone Cold Jones.
Yep.
Chris, there's still...
Did Houston do it? Does this kind of put them in the mix now?
In the mix? Absolutely, they're in the mix. They were in the mix before, and now, they added some extra ingredients. It's going to take some time for this to process, but yeah, bro, that offense was incredible last year, and now you're adding a guy like Steph Diggs to the mix, and you got to wonder, yesterday I made a joke about chemistry in the locker room.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, they just gave this man up for virtually nothing. So now you got to wonder, was the locker room really in just shambles? Because you got to get something for this guy, right? You can't just give him away for a future second rounder.
Not even in this year's draft.
Not even in this year's draft.
Not even in this year. So they can package that and move up for something
wasn't
or other.
right. Would you agree?
Felt like something was off with Steph the last couple of seasons. Like I mentioned, the stuff last off season, and then just look at his snap rate this year, down each of the last couple years in Buffalo. Look, Josh Allen obviously looked to him, but still something was off.
Yeah. You could tell.
You could tell. I think you could tell.
You could tell. And I'm a big. I grew up playing football. I'm a Steelers fan. So when Cam Hayward comes on later, I'm just all over it right there. But last year you can tell. But we go back to the question about, can they usurp Kansas City? But we saw this year in the Super Bowl that maybe not as talented in the past, Kansas.
Right.
But with Andy Reid, with Steve Spagnuolo on the defensive end, and then with that anomaly number 15 and big number 87, employee number 87, it's just when it comes down to a one-game scenario.
When it's winning time.
Can you get them during the regular season if something happens and play? Maybe, but in that playoff scenario, how do you bet against them?
When it's winning time.
When it's winning time. It's just certain teams, I don't care whether it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, that when they're in their mix, when they're in their time, it's just like, how do you bet against them?
Yeah.
You know, and again, being young, we talked about being young like yesterday with OKC. You haven't been through the fire yet, trying to figure things out. How can you win? Houston could be considered that same thing with CJ, as good as he is, to kind of go through the gauntlet of figuring it out to get over. Now, we're talking what could happen in the future, but it's a great story going into the season. I tell you that, you know, my Steelers, and we're going to talk about this in the AFC now, I'm just like, oh, man. Oh, man.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.